What is going on? What is going on, everybody in the house? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning.
I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck. But first I stretch. Tell 'em run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it on. I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it on.
What is going on? What is going on? It is Wake Up in Cleveland. Tech Thursday, as always. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I am bright and early. I'm not too late. Sometimes you get a little late. Sometimes, sometimes you get up when you get up. So I am here. It is Tech Thursday. As always, we're going to be talking about, DJ related. DJ related questions. Hopefully my lights stay up. This is probably going to be the last time I use this specific desk. I'm getting another desk soon. And maybe my lights won't fall off the table. I guess there's enough light in here. I think we're okay. But, life is life. So, it's going to be one of those days today. It's going to be one of those days. Okay. While we wait for, the entire world to come up here, I'm going to go back and fix the light that's now on the floor. And we'll go from there. But let me bring up some comments so I can see what's going on in the world. Need to see what the people are saying. Live chat. Not that one. One day I'll figure out how to bring the chat back. There we go. Because for whatever reason, the highlighted chat, I just haven't got to work. It requires like an extra HTML and hyperlinks, and I just don't have the energy to do it. Okay. We got the real DJ King, Philip Tan in the building. Good to see you, fam. Robert Nestor, Shadea Marshall, Mac Joseph in the house. And we are just waiting on the world to come, which hopefully happens soon. Let me get out of this thing real quick. Okay. So, Mac Joseph just asked, how do you feel about DJing remotely? The technology is there. The technology is there. It's definitely something that we could be doing. I think the question is always, but should we be doing it? Because I've said it myself, there are many a DJ out there, especially the bigger DJs. Like, let's say the Daft Punks, the Marshmallows. It's one of those things where you would think, if I'm Marshmallow or anybody, Calvin Harris, any of these producers, you could have them literally playing at 5 different nightclubs, on a Friday or Saturday night. One in Vegas. Maybe you got a couple in Vegas. Maybe they're at Tao in one place, and then they're at somewhere else in another, and they just do their sets. Because in general, it's not like these DJs are really, all about. They're not making mixes for the venues they're going to. They're not trying to read a crowd. They just play what they play, and either you dance or you don't dance. So I don't know. I mean, I know it's there. I know the technology is definitely there. I still think you need that interaction, that personal interaction. I think is that's going to be missed. So I think it's going to come. sooner or later. It's going to come. But I don't think we're there yet. I think people, for one thing, I think it's going to be hard to price it out, because there's a lot of these clubs and stuff are going to want to try to pay you less because you're not physically there. But your reputation, your fan base is still your fan base regardless. So, I think we still have a ways to go, but yeah, it's definitely going to happen at some point. It's definitely going to happen. Okay. Let's see here. Why am I getting a reflection? Because that's making it hard to read my comments here. Okay, that's a little better. All right. Robert Nestor. Can an external hard drive be used to house music and analyze stems for people with computers that can't handle live stems? I understand this is not the best way. That's a very good question. Because well, let's see here. Because your stems is located in your music folder. But it's located in your music folder by default. So let's see. I know it because I know I've seen it. Where is that thing at? I know it's here somewhere. Imported, maybe imported. Samples. Yeah, I've seen it. Post locker, recording temp, recordings, smart crates, sub crates. Huh. I'll have to look a little further. And possibly because I don't have anything in a stems folder. I think I have one song. But in general, there's no way at the current time to say process my stems over here. It's a default. So in my mind, it's kind of all or nothing. So if you have all of your media on an external drive, then you process your stems. It should still process those stems to that external drive, but you can't really split it up per se because it is a default place that all those files are stored. And maybe at a certain point, I'm checking in the settings right now. Maybe at a certain point, library display. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. So maybe at a certain point, they will give you that option to kind of decide where it goes. Because, I mean, the facts are you're definitely going to use up a lot more space that way. You're definitely going to use a lot more space. So any way that you can kind of offload would be fantastic. So maybe, just not yet. Not yet. Okay. Okay. I know I saw another question. Philip says, I've been trying the X5 transmitters and their range doesn't go as far as I need. What's the next step up from X5? Alto Stealth? Sure, Sennheiser. Definitely not Sennheiser. Unless you're, well, I don't want to say definitely not Sennheiser. They do make an upper level version. It's far more expensive. And most of them are battery powered. I think Mac Joseph, somebody was saying in here, I think the Alto Stealth is a very good one. The issue has really always been about the distance, and you kind of pay for the distance. I don't know how far you need it to go though. How far? Because with the clear path, depending on where you are, I always have to preface that because if you're performing in the middle of MIT in the square, it might be just a frequency issue that is running into it. But how far are you trying to go? And maybe you need to move from the 2.4 to the 5G ones. The 5G ones can potentially have better range. They're definitely more powerful bursts. So that could be an option too. Menace Maldonado says, what moving heads are you using for your events? I'm still using my 350s, my Intimidator uh, Chevet 350s. They've been rock steady. Every time I think about upgrading, it doesn't make sense because they've been rock steady. The only thing I'd like to move over to a in reality, just a battery powered one. I know that there's a couple of companies out there that make battery powered, moving heads. That's what I'd like to go to because I want to have a kind of almost truly wireless setup. Obviously, your speakers are stereo speakers, but it'd be nice to be able to cut away some of these things. Let's see here. Celebra Harmony in the building. What's going on? Space Ace, what is happening? Space Ace asks, can I run an M1 MacBook Air with 8 gigs of RAM for Serato stems? I mean, you should. I've never tested it, but the stems feature is more in the processing and the GPU. So there shouldn't be a problem with that. I mean, 8 gigs of RAM, even though it is minimal, it should still be fine because it's really about the processor. This was tested to see how much people value you. Yeah, you're right. You're right about that. I still think that there is still that fear of what if something goes wrong, if you're doing it at your house and you lose your connection, your dog pulls on your network cord, I think that's always the big fear. So until they can make something that's like, 100% on, it's going to be a minute. Oh, okay. Ruben says, the longest range I've had with wireless was using a PSM 300 with a directional antenna. Yeah, but it just depends. Philip says, yeah, there's a campus venue I do every month. I think I saw that, and I can't get a stable signal from one end of the corridor to the other. Yeah, you might need to see. You might need to check. There's sometimes when you do reviews, they can be limited by your location. And the only real way for me to do like a truly 100% accurate review is for me to take, my X5s and literally go from county to county, from state to state, from country to country. That's really the only way. I just know that in California, the frequency range is just, it's not as congested. So they just tend to work better. But I do know, depending on where you are, I might try them in downtown LA and they cause trouble. It just depends. That's why you won't know until you try. Sometimes I think people blame products, and I know you're not blaming them, but sometimes people blame products and it has nothing to do with the product because the product can't anticipate every single situation, So sometimes I'll see people know X5, they suck. I couldn't even get out of my house. You can't necessarily blame X5 for that. There's a lot of variables in the situation. Okay. Jerry says, when I map stems to my pads, stems is all the pad will do. Well, yes. When you map to a pad, that's all it's going to do. It's going to only be stems on that particular pad. It's not like you lose the functionality of the pad previously. So let's say, for instance, like for myself, I'm a big fan of the loop roll. And in some of the controllers, loop roll and sampler are the only options. So I don't want to get rid of my loop roll because I actually use my loop roll. I don't use my sampler as much because because technically I could use my keyboard, which is probably what I'll do for the rest of the stuff. I totally forgot about that. However, I thought on the Rane One, I thought you could use transport controls, which nobody uses. So if you can, I would go to the transport controls instead and use those. I'm pretty much positive that the transport controls can be used. Mac Joseph says you can run a $400 Steam Deck. Yes, you can. My guy Drew was the first one to literally test it and to make it happen from Pioneer DJ, and it's spotless. I'm probably gonna buy one just because. I mean, there's a simple fact that while I'm a big fan of DJ, if I could have a portable Serato, it's something that I can keep in a small little man bag, I'd be a happy camper. I would be a happy camper. Okay. Official Madras says, I have a DDJ SR2. I'm trying to use my mic to mix live, but won't work. I don't know about the SR2 as far as the mic and streaming. I do know that there are certain devices that, because the mic was never actually built into the basically your audio has to flow through the system, the software, and then back out. And some of the controllers, the mic never actually touches the system, the software. So you are unable to. You'd have to do some more research on that one. I don't know, but I do know there are several controllers where you cannot use the mic. You're gonna have to use an external mixer or something like that to get the mic to work. I don't know if it's that one in particular. Okay. Okay, Sel Yang in the building. Do you think Pioneer will ever make a controller similar to the Denon Prime Go? I think you've asked that before. I think when a product is successful and we are moving into the situation, especially after the pandemic, where streaming became a thing, and then location streaming became a thing, I think it just makes sense for us to have more battery powered options. I think it's going to come regardless. You know, battery powered things are the most important thing, in my opinion, for it to have like a truly reliably working system, because we are all at the mercy of power. You know, I mean, I have some Mackie Thumb Go's. I have my Denon Prime Go. If the power were to go out on my party, I have Chevet wireless uplights. If the power were to go out on my party, I could still manage with my Mackies, my Prime Go, and some uplights. So I think that's where we need to go. I think we need to see more of them. So I think it's going to happen. Just a matter of time. Super glad for all the CT reviews. This is just a unique situation for myself. Yeah, I know. But hey, it's a cool place to be in, though. You know? No, Jerry Adams says no hot cues and everything go away. That is not the case. Because I have a Rane One, and I know that it's probably just you just probably a little bit of user error. Okay, in all honesty, because I have a Rane One, I got a Rev 7. I've mapped the stems to the Rane One. Like I said, there's a transport control one, so I just use that one. But if I guess I don't know if we can do this here. Let's see if we can do this. I'm hoping that my computer is actually online. Okay, cool. All right. So A couple of things you have to make sure that you have on here, and I'm not plugged into anything, so this is going to be a problem. Okay, hold on. Let me what can I plug into here? I would plug into the Rane One, but the Rane One is downstairs in my garage, and I'm not doing that today. So we will use the S11 as an option. Oh wait, I have an SR2 here, not SR2, Flex 4. Hold on for 1 second here. Okay, so I plugged into the Flex 4 here, and if you go into your MIDI, you need to make sure that obviously you allow Serato hardware remapping. But then you have to head over to MIDI, and of course, switch out your things here. So the only thing I can think of, because say for instance, this particular device, come on, move over. Oh, you son of a gun. It is not going to let me switch. There we go. Okay. So this particular device has the sampler as an option. It doesn't have a loop roll, so I'd have to use the sampler. I think I have samples in here. I do. There's not going to be any audio. So, basically, once you start mapping, which it should be as simple as just clicking and then clicking the corresponding button on here. You said it's on the SR2. It shouldn't matter. Should not matter. Should not matter. Now, I think one question I would have, and then after you go in here, you definitely want to make sure you save as, and you want to give it a name. Because if you're using multiple devices, you can confuse the system here. So I like to give it a name. That way, if I need to, I can load it up or load something else up, and I can just choose it and load. So I don't have all the answers to you because it should be pretty straightforward. If it's replacing everything, then maybe you are trying to map it to something that Serato has not deemed mappable, and it's confusing the system. So, that's my thought process here. Okay. Let's see here. Why does it seem like a lot of DJs don't like the Denon P4? I don't know. That's a personal question. Um, I would say that a lot of people like the Prime 4. What a lot of people don't like is let's see if I can make it lower. Good. What a lot of people don't like is, well, the size. I mean, it's a good device. It's basically it's like an SX3 on steroids, but it's very big. It's cumbersome. It's got a lot of great features. Uh, if you are if you are intending on using Serato with it, and maybe another person's intending on using the actual Denon Prime Go, um, then the situation is you're not just the changeover sucks. It absolutely sucks. So that's the biggest issue with it. But there's nothing wrong with the Prime 4. But I think the bigger question is why aren't DJs really loving Engine OS? That's the question you want to ask. You know, um, and the short answer is, there's a lot of Serato users, and you can't really look at the world and say that it's that why don't people like the P4? Because everything DJs, everything that we operate in it, we're in this like, you know, glass house, and everybody has an opinion, and everybody says, and the most vocal person is typically the one that gets heard. So in general, um, I think there are far more people that are using these products than people want to give credit for. I just think that people, it's people, it's people. But I think more people like it than you're giving credit for. Uh, okay. Selling, you just played in the Team Lapse music that Design Candy used in City Skylines game. Okay. Well, I am using music from Epidemic Sound, so makes sense that a video game company would use the same thing. You know. Um, okay. Let's see. All right. Oscar says, in December, I asked if I should update from my 400, and you suggested wait till mid-January, early February. My question is, were you talking about the new Rane controller, or should I keep waiting? Well, I mean, you keep waiting. Uh, go back up here. You keep waiting because um, you're just too close to product announcements across the board in general. Remember, January, not this year, but uh, before the pandemic, January was product release month. That's when NAMM was. So everybody was releasing products in January. Of course, this year it's in April, but that doesn't stop product releases from happening. So when I tell you to wait, if you're in December, you got to wait a couple of months. Give it. I wouldn't, unless you absolutely need a piece of gear right now. I would not do anything until we get to NAMM. In all honesty, I would wait until NAMM for any major purchases. I'm not talking about a Flex 4 or something like that. But I mean major purchases. I would wait. I mean, we're still waiting on the Rane 4 to come out. And it's looking like it's not coming out until around close to around there. It's going to be probably in the first quarter, but probably more likely the end of the first quarter. So we have the Rane 4. We got the Reloop Mixon 8. That's supposed to be coming out. Still not out. And then whatever Pioneer DJ decides they're going to bring out. They're in desperate need of some new gear. I mean, they released the Rev 7, but there hasn't been a DDJ 1000 replacement. There's no 800 replacement. The SX line is needs something. I don't want to say it needs something, but in general, a lot of their product besides the Rev 7 and their higher end stuff is a dated is the wrong word. because it's not dated, because the DJ 1000 is still a great piece of hardware. But, you know, we're getting to a place now with stems and all those things that we need our hardware to start matching the software. And right now, everything is kind of duct taped together. You know, there's nothing that's truly dedicated to stems except for the Rane 4. So we gotta hope to see something from Pioneer, you know, that focuses on stems. I don't think that any controller coming out in 2023 can really come out without having the option to have dedicated buttons for stems. I'm not talking about, mappable. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actual buttons for stems. The Rev 7 is saved because it has those upper buttons that can be mapped. So for me, it's basically stems. It's basically a built-in stem system. But you know, all of these controllers are going to have dedicated stems buttons. There's just no way around it. No way around it. Okay. All right, let's see here. Hoping Pioneer has something in the horizon, like an 800 with dual Serato and record box. Oh, running dual Serato and record box. So, in general, I know this didn't happen to the Rev 7. But in general, pretty much every device that Pioneer has been making has been both record box and Serato. So I think that's going to continue on. But, you know, you never know. There's always those one-offs where it's just like, oh, this is a Serato only thing. It is what it is. But in general, yeah, most of the products will do both that I've seen that have come out. And, you know, we'll see what happens in the future. All right. All right. Let's see. Chalice in the building. What is going on? What's going on, Oscar? Love the suggestion feature in DJ. Huge help when DJing on the fly. Serato needs to catch up. Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, we know their library just needs, period. Everything needs to be updated. We just love our Serato. We love our Serato, and we're willing to do what it takes. I'm telling you, my relationship with Serato is like, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's like a abusive relationship, like I'm the battered wife, but there is a certain part of me that's like, why do you stay with Serato? Why? There's so many other options. You could be in DJ, you know, although there's a reason why I haven't truly locked on to DJ. There's virtual DJ. You guys know how I feel. You know, it's a visual, it's a thing for me. Nothing wrong with virtual DJ. DJ is what I really truly do. She's kind of the mistress, you know, like she's always in the corner of my eye. Like, yeah, you know, maybe when I'm with my wife, I'm thinking about her, you know, who knows? But the problem is a single problem. Honestly, it is a single problem. Because of the way that the Rev 7 is designed, the data, the information that travels through the jogs. Apparently, there's two pieces of data. I actually just found this one thing out. There's two pieces of data. There is the instruction tells it that it's moving, right? And then there is the secondary instruction, basically for your hand. That's basically telling it when things are changing. And look, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a software guy, so I'm probably butchering that. But in general, there are two sets of instructions. DJ is only reading one set of instructions, which is it's moving. So what I'm saying is, because of that, when you start to scratch with DJ, you get a warble sound coming from your jogs. Only when you're scratching. And yeah, if I don't scratch or if I'm really slow with the adjustments, then it's fine. But I know that most people don't even hear that, but I hear it, and it drives me nuts. So that's the reason that I don't use DJ, because I'm a Rev 7 person. I didn't have this problem on on the Rane One or any other controller. It's just specifically uh the Rev 7. Yeah. Okay. I think everybody's going towards the flex line. I don't know exactly what that means. I need the MIDI mapping. I need help MIDI mapping my SRT 1000. That's the easiest one, Theo. I literally MIDI mapped 3 different 1000s over like a 3-day period. Don't ask me why. Because I walked up to a friend and I saw him and he had his Serato tab, the stems tab that you can go to instead of looking at his cue points, because he was manually, clicking the button. I'm like, you're on at that 1000. Why don't you just do it real quick? He's like, really? That's the easiest. But you have to take your loop roll. And if you use your loop roll, you won't have any problems. And literally, it's just click. Honestly, I mean, it is just, you're clicking here and then you're pressing the corresponding button, and you just take this all the way through, and then you go into your MIDI, go back to your MIDI after you've done all these things. I mean, obviously exit out of your MIDI, but then you just want to make sure, what I suggest anyway, is just going in and then doing a save as and saving that one like 1000 stems, and then save it up. And then, because I know a lot of people only have one controller. So it doesn't really matter to them. They just set it and forget it. But for people like me, having multiples, it can mess with the other controllers. So I just like to save them. And in that way, you keep it clean, because if you're making adjustments to things, because on some things, maybe you use a loop roll. On some things, maybe you're using a sampler. Maybe you're using the transport on some things, and you don't want it to get confused. So you got to make sure you save as. I don't like the tinny jog wheels on the Denon P4. Well, the jog wheels on the P4 they basically feel just like the SX2 and 3. So yeah, I mean, you got to like those capacitive jogs. Okay. Pablo Miami says, I currently own an S9 and DDJ SX. I was thinking of updating my stuff or buying a photo booth light subs. Curious on your opinion from a business perspective. Okay. This is actually a very good question, and thank you, Pablo, for answering it. Here's my take on it. You buy things for your business that's going to make you money. So if upgrading your hardware, you're on a SX, you're on a S9. Is updating your hardware gonna generate any new money for you? Now, I'm not saying where you run into a situation where maybe your hardware is failing or your computer is failing, and then you have to update that. That is an expense. That is a part of running a business. And yes, those things need to occur. But just buying the new shiny new things does not make any new money for you. And if your stuff is working, it's from a business perspective, it's kind of a silly thing to do. So my answer to you is always go with the photo booth, because that will make you money. I know you're saying subs here. I don't know what you're using from your subs and your highs and all those things, but if your subs and your highs have been fine and they sound good, you have a good baseline audio system, then invest in things that are going to make you money. And then if you get a photo booth and it does start to make you money, well, now you can upgrade all these things, but you don't upgrade just because. Just trust me when I tell you, I love upgrading just because. But in general, I have not. I mean, we're in a situation right now. We have to buy essentially 2 new audio systems. One specifically, but we technically need 2 more. Why? Because when we first started our business, we were running passive systems. Sherwin Vegas and JBL MRXs. Great sounding system. Great sounding system. But big, huge, nobody's doing that anymore. So I was the first one to go powered, and I moved to the JBL SRXs with the 828. Then my partner bought the PRXs, hated them. Then he went with the SRXs also. But he went with the 818. We then had some smaller systems because previously we had 4 large systems and then 4 small systems like Eon setups, things like that. But we ran into a situation when we got rid of the passives that we need more systems that are capable of doing 200 plus parties, because right now we not at this exact second, we had like 2 systems in the studio plus the 2 that, like, I have one, my partner has one. So that gives us, 3, 4 legitimate systems that can go anywhere. Because that's the thing, the go anywhere. We had a lot of systems that were good for 100 to 130 people. We didn't have any go anywhere systems. So we are about to buy a new speaker setup. And unless something drastically changes, it looks like I will be buying I will be buying a QSC rig. QSC 12.2s and the 118s. Dual subs and the highs. That's where it looks like I'm going. Now, I know all the people out there are going to tell me, go EV, bro. Bro, RCF, bro. Bro, Yorksville, bro. I've asked specific people about that system. I've listened with that system. I've listened to the EVs. I've even listened to RCF. The problem that I'm seeing is I don't think that you are getting a dollar for dollar product increase by going with RCF. You get what I'm saying? Because the sub that I would need is like, they're like $1,000 more. Am I getting $1,000 more better sound? And the only thing that the professionals, the people that use these things and sell these things, are saying, they're like, well, it's hard to put. It's not something you can put on paper. They just sound. They sound a little better. It's like, okay, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a little better, because my guests don't hear a little better. You get it? So I'm probably gonna go with the QSC, and then I'm gonna push over my system over to that one, and go from there. But hey, things could change. I haven't bought anything yet. I've not bought anything yet. I don't need it yet. But we need it as a company. So me spending, $6,000 on a new audio setup is going to then pass my setup down. So it all works out because we need a system regardless. Okay. Comments on M1 or M2 MacBook Pros says I think it's Gusto. My comments are this: Apple makes really good processors right now, and you're not going to have a problem with either one. My comment is, for most people, especially DJs, you're better off going to the Apple refurb site and buying an M1 off there and saving $500. You're not going to use all of the things that the M2 processor even does, okay? That the M1 won't do. Because when you upgrade to the M2, you're getting the potential for a larger amount of RAM, which DJs don't need, a speed burst, which the M1 was already blowing everything out of the water, so that's not going to help you. And also, the only thing is supposedly the battery is more efficient. So that's the only thing out of all of it that you really care about. You don't need a 64 gigabyte graphics card. Not as a DJ, you don't. So if you are only DJing, then there's no real reason to go above the M1 right now. The M1 Pro is a fantastic processor. No need. Save the money. Use it for something else. Is my opinion. M1. This is the M1 Pro. 2 terabyte hard drive, 32 gigs of RAM, and this is the upper version, the 10 core M1 Pro, the one right before the Max. I have no need to upgrade. I saw the M2s. I saw all the stuff. I'm like, well, that looks and sounds amazing. Nothing's sputtering on my computer. Nothing I've thrown at my computer has failed me. So, I'm good. I'm good. The only difference would be, and the only other thing we need to realize, this isn't the chip that they wanted to put in this device. This is a stopgap. It's an excellent stopgap, but that's why you're seeing, so much RAM upgrades. It's a stopgap. When they go 3 nanometer on their processing on the chip, we're going to see larger boosts, and it's a real processor update. This is a stopgap. So we'll see. We'll wait for the M3s. But the M2s are really good. But honestly, it's right now, it's essentially having an iPhone 12 or 13 and then thinking, well, it's got that dynamic island on the 14. I should buy the 14 in the camera. It's not that much of a update. And if you have a 12, you're probably fine. I have a 13. I won't be upgrading at all until they move to USB-C. My iPhone 13 has been good. So when the 15 comes out and it has USB-C, that will probably be the last iPhone I buy for several years, unless they get rid of the notch / island. They put it under the screen. Only reason. I have no other reason to update at all. Now, that could be my old age kicking in. I saw my meter was redlining. It scared me. I thought it was on. Now, that could be my old age kicking in. And I'm just starting to realize that, not every materialistic item matters. Maybe. I don't need it. I don't need it. I guess it's kind of like I'm in the market for a new truck. So hopefully I will have a new truck by the time this weekend finishes. But because of the way the interest rates are and everything, in the lack of actual trucks and all these things, it's kind of a nightmare car shopping right now. So your money doesn't go as far as it did, just 2 years ago. So there's certain things that I might have to let go, like maybe I don't get leather this time. I like leather. In reality, I only care about one thing, and that is to make sure it has CarPlay. That's all I really need in a car is CarPlay. You give me CarPlay, I'm pretty much good, because I know all the stuff I use is really on my phone. I don't use the navigation. The Toyota. I was looking at the Toyota Tundra. They require a subscription to run navigation, to run the screen. They require a subscription to I don't know, auto start your car from your key fob. Those are, and I know it's only $7 or $8 a month, but that's $7 or $8 a month that you don't need to spend. I have a Ford right now, and as far as technology is concerned, it's pretty damn impressive. So I may stick Ford. I might go GMC, depending, but we shall see. We shall see. I'm going bigger. I have a Ford Ranger right now. I'm looking to get up into an F-150, or a Sierra, something like that. So we'll see. Okay. Gusto says, how would Serato be optimized or sound in either or both? It wouldn't do anything. It's the same software. Serato's not making. Serato's optimization is the M processor. You're not going to see anything different. The only difference is maybe they can make it sound even better, and then it takes more processing power. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think Serato is, first off, it's already a processor hog, so there's that. But I don't think you're gonna run into any problems. Okay. Pablo says Serato's wife, been there for the beginning, not as exciting DJ as that side thing. Exactly. She'll never cook for me. She will never cook for me. I mean, she'll cook, you know what I'm saying? But not food. I mean, what's the point of a side chick if she ain't cooking in that way? You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. Okay. All right. Haven't had time to scratch my head with work. I just downloaded new Serato yesterday. Going to be playing with Stems soon. Stems is a fantastic update. Okay. I know Virtual DJs had it. I know DJs had it, but Stems is a fantastic update. And would my world change? Like, would I be angry if Stems went away? Probably, because I do use Stems a lot now. I mean, I don't really use it for, like, there's so many people that are just making mashups like for days, and you go on IG, it's just stems. Great. But honestly, you could have done that before, you lazy asses. There's audio rippers left and right. You could have extracted that acapella at any point in time. But you didn't, because you're lazy. Now all of a sudden, like, ooh, stems, sweet. I didn't know I could do this. You could have done this the whole time. It's far more convenient now. That's what I love. I really love it in Serato Studio. That's the one that makes the most sense. DJing, it's fantastic that it's there. But in a production environment, there's nothing better. Nothing better. I don't care if it doesn't sound amazing. That's just the first step for me to go, this stuff works exactly how I had it in my head. I'll go and buy the acapella if I really need to, for perfect, or I'll use a real extrapper like Ripx or something like that, which I have, which is very, very good. So all of those options are already there. And then I think Deezer just came out with a brand new one that's supposed to be really good. So anyway, okay. So Clark, I know there is actually a setting in Serato DJ. I think that setting is temporary, because my partner said the same thing. I never saw the setting, but my partner said the same thing. And then he went to go show me where it was, because I was like, I haven't seen this. Couldn't find it. He goes, I think it was when I first, went in and activated stems. Then that setting came up. Anyway. Okay, let's hop down. Hop down here. Very nice, great sound, great size. I mean, Bass Boss. There's nothing wrong with Bass Boss, Steve. Bass Boss is a very good system. Problem with Bass Boss is, I'm gonna be petty right now. Ugly as shit. And don't get me started on the highs. So here we go here. Let's go full screen. All right. So this 12 looks good. Let me go the Kraken. It's hilarious. Let's go to the mobile subs here. Okay. So why are you taking so long? All right. The subs in general, like, this is their kind of claim to fame. This is their BB15. It's a solid speaker. There's not really much to it. It's just what it is. It looks very Cerwin Vega-ish, as I've always said. It's like Cerwin Vega 2.0, but it's not in your face. Like, it still looks, a little more innocuous. Enough. And then there's the 18, it's just a bigger version of that. I do like how the caster locks into place here, and then you take it off, and then you have access. That's cool. But let's move over, and then you start to get to Cerwin Vegas. Let's move over to their tops. Okay, let's just take a look real quick. What the hell are these? Now, I know what you're thinking. What? They're just a square top. No, they're not. Those things sit up there like a diamond. I don't know what they were thinking. This is not attractive. This is ugly. Now, maybe some people like it. It is not for me. Now you move over to like your like the nines. Yeah, now we're starting to get to more realistic speakers again. But even then, they're very, very aggressive. These, which are kind of like the standard 12s, they have this big red mark here. It's too obvious. Speakers in this thing. Speakers are supposed to hide. They're supposed to go away. You want to blend your speakers in as much as possible, because when you don't, only speaking for myself, party planners, coordinators, designers of rooms hate you when your speakers become the center, the focal point of their design. They would rather not have speakers at all. At all. So do yourself a favor and make them as... Why do you think they love line arrays, column arrays so much? Why do you think they love them? Because they're small. They're out of the way. The QSC, the 12 and the 18 stack really just looks like a slightly bigger column array because the system is so small. Now, I was in a exceptionally long and wide room with super high ceilings, and that was my thing. How does it sound? Strangely enough, the one thing that I've noticed, it doesn't have a fault. It's just every system requires you to, manage it a certain way. And so the guy that was running them had them, set up left and right next to his facade. Basically lined up, that's how they look the best, obviously. Here's the thing. The way QSC's speaker fall off is, their optimal sound is probably, I don't know, 20, maybe 15 to 20 feet away from the speaker. While you're standing in front of the speaker, it does not sound as good. So he made two mistakes. One, that the two was he had his highs at 12 o'clock at the same time. So when I first got into that room and he was running everything at 12 and it was blasting, I was like, my ears hurt. There's a harshness to this sound. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you don't hear that. Because a lot of DJs, they just plug their shit in and then they put it at 12 o'clock and they're like, well, this is 12 and 12. That makes sense. And then they just turn it on and go. They don't even really do a true audio test or analysis. And they don't hear that, wow, this is really wearing on my ears a little bit. I'm getting ear fatigue. So I went back there and started tweaking his stuff. And, first thing I did was I went to his highs and I turned his highs from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And that made a humongous difference. Now the sound is even. It sounds full. The bass is hitting harder because now you can adjust the main volume, turn everything up, and everything sounds better. But the one thing I will say about those highs, I was at the edge of the room, and this was one of those super long, almost like a catwalk, all the way to the end of the room. And when my partner grabbed the microphone and started talking, crisp and clean the entire way through. The bass follows all the way through. The bass hit much farther than I anticipated it was going to hit. The fall off on the bass was nominal. Now, QSC is definitely mid bass heavy, not punch heavy. It has punch, but the punch requires that extra space. You'll feel and hear the punch at more like a 20 to 25 feet away. The bass, that mid bass, is through and through the entire way. So the emphasis is definitely on the mid bass, in my opinion. Okay. All right. RCF hands down. See, I'm Eve. However you pronounce your name. This is what I'm talking about. RCF hands down. It's an opinion. It's an opinion. Everybody's ears, everybody's mental picture of how your audio should sound is specific to the person, which is why I never tell people, oh, you definitely got to do this. You definitely got to do this. Because I've walked into places where they're like, oh, yeah, this is it. And I walk in, I'm like, okay, like it's fine. It's good. I've listened to the RCFs. I know they're a really good sounding speaker. I know that. My point is, I don't think I know the highs are closer, but the subs, even my professional guy that sells RCF was like, yeah, the 8004. He's like, yeah, I wouldn't, that's not better than the QSC 118. So you have to buy the upper version. The upper version is like $300 to $3,500. It's not worth it to me. Just to me. You spend however you want, but I will never say that any speaker out there is hands down the best. I won't do that because I know that like the QSC system sounds a specific way. The JBL SRX system sounds a specific way. They all have their different color. You know, it's the same thing when people talk about Rane over Pioneer DJ and they're like, oh, Rane, oh, the audio from the Rane is so much better than you know, the Pioneer. Well, that's not actually true. It's not so much better. It's just colored differently. So it depending on what your color is in your mind, something's gonna sound better. You know what I'm saying? So that's all. I've said it. We can move on. Ivan in the building. What's going on? You're forgetting about the high GPU for video content like streaming and graphics work like Resolume Arena to push visuals and time code. Yeah, but that's not what they're asking. He's just asking for Serato. Like I said, if you are using things that require the higher graphics cards and the higher processor, then of course, by all means. But the M1 processor, the M1 Pro, didn't have a problem with Resolume. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, if you want to push it to the max, fine. Grab something that works for you. But in general, the M1s are just fine. I run all of my video rendering and Final Cut and DaVinci Pro. I've moved to DaVinci Resolve. Never had a bottleneck at all. Never had one issue. So, you know, to each their own. But, you know, I don't think most people are going out there and spending, you know, $6,000-$7,000 on a MacBook to get the best possible. I don't think it's happening unless it is something that you do for a living. Let's see here. Pablo says, yeah, the only time I've had issues when I was using software that wasn't optimized for the M1. Exactly. Yeah. I have a temperature gauge on my computer here. By the way, if you're ever looking for which one is great, I use, what do I use? I think it's like TCP or TPP. What is it called? It is called TG Pro. TG Pro. And there is a temperature gauge up here. And on my temperature gauge, like right now, I'm running, and I got Serato running. I still have DaVinci Pro still up, and that's still running. I'm running at 56 degrees Celsius. So I think that's like, you know, in the 90s, 80 or 90s in Fahrenheit. But 50 degrees Celsius, if I were running my Intel based MacBook Pro, this would have been sitting at 90 degrees Celsius easily. Easily. The fans would have been on, blowing like crazy. So I'm so good. I'm good. Good. All right. Oh God. Metro says, I've started to get back into streaming. Can you recommend a good, inexpensive camera with great video quality I can use besides my iPhone? There are tons of great cameras. I would suggest probably going with like a Micro Four Thirds. I would suggest going with like a Lumix G7, uh, even the G8, which is a little more expensive. I don't know what your price point is, so that makes it hard. I know there's a couple of people that use the Sony EV something, and they swear by that one too. So there's a lot. There was a, but I think price wise, the Lumix line is just a more affordable solution in general for cameras. They have the best. They have the best. Not that it matters to you because it's going to be on a pole, but their stabilization is some of the best, and they're one of the only ones that actually have a true 4K because it's Micro Four Thirds, so it's already being you're already losing some of your. It's not a full frame camera is basically what I'm saying. I don't want to get too detailed here, but I ran Micro Four Thirds my entire career before moving finally to the Sony A7 IV. This camera up here is still a Lumix G9. Still a fantastic thing, and had that new GH whatever, I think it's the GH7 or whatever the newest camera came out from the Lumix line, because they came out with two cameras over the past like year. The first one they came out with, I was literally on the fence. I'm like, I'm buying a camera, I just don't know which one I'm buying. And it was the GH6, could have been the GH7, I don't remember. Either way, at the same time, it was that one and the A7 IV. And they hadn't done anything that I needed them to do, so I moved to Sony. Now, their newest camera finally does everything I needed to do, plus the stabilization is stupid amazing. But now I'm Sony. You're not getting me over again. Well, maybe not right now anyway. Yeah, but like a G7, a Lumix G7, you can get for $500 nowadays. You know, I do prefer having a camera like the G9, which I think you can get the G9 for under $1,000, and it has full HDMI and you know, like I said, all the things. You still have to buy a lens, you know, or you can get one with the stock, and I think it's, you know, add like $100 on, but you know, I think you're good with any of those. Okay. What do you recommend as far as wireless mic or lavalier for an officiant at a wedding? DJ Red, I don't have an opinion. I don't like lavaliers. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. They make noise. Most people don't know how to wear them correctly to prevent that noise from being made. So I do prefer handhelds. Wireless microphones are typical. Get yourself a couple of Shores, some Sennheisers. They're all good. You know, just make sure they have enough range to get to where you are, because you should be somewhere farther out of the shot. So yeah, you know, you get yourself a couple of, I mean, even like a PG4 digital is fine for most people. A PG4 with the SM58 wireless handheld, you're fine. You don't need much more than that. So anyway, yeah. Okay, Mixmaster G in the building. We're not complaining. Do you think this is what we do, Mixmaster? We just complain the whole time? So Aaron says, I'm getting an M2 only because 2015 is getting old. That I understand. But if you're coming from an M1, there's no reason to upgrade right now. No reason. Stanley Cunningham says, RAM 1500 limited. I don't like RAM. I like RAM, but I don't like the body style. That's why I'm not, I nixed out RAM. I don't like the way it looks. What I love. So here's the problem. Okay. I absolutely love the way both the GMC and the Chevy trucks look. They are aggressive. They are manly. They got big, beefy grills. Yes. Ford, kind of boring. Even their Lightning, kind of boring looking. But interior wise, the technology wise, I think it's better on the Ford. And the problem is you spend your life in the car, not outside the car. So I'm still on the fence. I've been a Ford guy for the longest time. Well, technically my wife was a Ford person, but then she moved over to Lexus. Okay. I have a Ford Flex. It's rad. Northwest Audio in the building. Here's the thing. I truly believe the Ford Flex is the best SUV style wagon car that Ford has ever made. The best. It pissed me off so much when they discontinued it. My wife went through she had gone through two or three Ford Flexes, and they were always good. Honestly, I think that was a huge mistake from Ford. I mean, obviously they weren't selling, or I don't want to say they weren't selling. Typically speaking, a lot of times when things get discontinued, it's not because they're not selling, but maybe they're selling, but the platform that they're on, because most of these companies, they use shared platforms. So like the Ford Ranger truck is the same platform, which means like, the drivetrain, all that stuff, as the Bronco. The Bronco. So you're guaranteed to be keeping probably both of those because they have a shared platform. I don't think the Flex had anything else on that platform. So that's why they discontinued it. But yes, that's the best car they've made. Okay. All right. Hot Fever. Suggestions on external hard drives for Serato. Big delay. Current MacBook Pro. MacBook Pro 2022. Okay. All right. We're going to hop down here. Mac Joseph says VDJ Stems is the best at this point. I think it depends. And I think it's the most, VDJ stems are the most universal, the most flexible, the most ability to control. From a sound perspective, I think the acapellas are the best sounding, like across the board. I do believe though, Serato has a better vocal and drum sound. I don't know what they're doing, but when you run those two together, it sounds better than pretty much everyone out there. Now, it's relative because Virtual DJ and Serato both sound really good, but yeah, Virtual DJ has the best acapella at the moment. DJ Dr. Stunner, MacBook's better for DJing than Windows laptops. I've been using HP for years. No. If it works for you, keep it. I think it's not that a MacBook runs better. I think, it's easier to program for Mac because there aren't so many bodies. When you're dealing with Windows, you have to program for any and all specifications. You don't have to do that for Mac. So, but is it better? I mean, I used a PC for about a year, DJing with the XMG. I still wanted to go back to Mac, and it's just a difference of doing things. That's all. One is not better than the other. I mean, right now, processor wise, I do believe that the MacBooks are better. I think it's going to take a minute for Intel to catch up. Yeah, especially when they're just trying to catch up now to the M1s, and they haven't even caught up to the M1s, and then the M2 comes out. They're nowhere close. So, but they'll find a way to reverse engineer it and do their own. You can order them without the orange tweeter. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know. I just received mine. Now, I will say this about Bass Boss, and I'll just go back real quick. Bass Boss, I believe, has the best subs on the planet. People talk about, RCF hits and all this and Yorksville. I think Bass Boss, with a name like Bass Boss, you better be delivering the best sound. And I think that their bass hits more than all others. I don't think their highs are as good as they're charging for. I think they're harsh and they're sterile, but their bass hits. Okay. RCF HD10. Yeah, even the HDs. I mean, again, it's all preference. Do you use your powered speakers with the PA2? PA2? What's a PA2? Let me know what a PA2 is. Maybe I'm just not thinking at the moment. I'm going to an i9. I'm going from an i9. I had an i9 too. The i9 is like cooking eggs on a frying pan. Legitimately, I think the i9 on the MacBook, I don't know what you're using, but the MacBook i9 was the best and the worst computer I ever owned. Like, I loved that it had the power, but those fans were on all day, every day. Battery life, horrible. The 14 is the best. The 14 is the best MacBook I've ever owned. The best MacBook I've ever owned is 14. Hands down. I don't know that I will never go to a 16. This is my computer now. Love it. Okay. Yeah, price point 300 to 500. Yeah, I would say go with Lumix. DJ Reese, what's the best way to stream without being muted or kicked off of YouTube? Twitch or Facebook? Okay. I think I should start recording this particular thing. Okay. So, first off, you're not really getting kicked out of Twitch. All right. So, Twitch you should be fine on. YouTube, if you're getting kicked out of YouTube, my thoughts are you are playing really, really commercial music, because YouTube is not kicking you off playing, a whole bunch of remixes and, new blends. Facebook will kick you off pretty much no matter what. So, DJ Reese, my question to you is, and you can answer it below. My question to you is, what purpose are you trying to serve by DJing on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch? What's the end goal for you? And then I will wait, and then I will answer you. Okay. Sony E-mount lens prices, though. No, that's not true. Sony's lenses can be expensive, but they have some cheap ones. I mean, if you decide to go, if it's a studio camera, you can literally go a Prime. You can get a Prime, one of the nifty 50s. I think that's like $150. So it just depends on what you get. You don't have to run a Prime, 1.8 for your system. I mean, this is a 1.8. I'm only running at 2.0 right now, but this is 1.8. This is the 20 Prime. That lens was $1,200. The next lens I'm going to buy is the 16 to 35. That's going to be my everyday lens that I take with me everywhere. That's going to be my lens of choice. This one is great. Love this lens, but I'd love to be able to have a little more range and a little wider depending on what I'm doing, especially when I'm, out doing events. So 16 to 35 f4 is my is my next lens. It's about $1,100. $1,100 that I just don't want to spend at the moment. I have it. I just don't want to spend it. I don't know. I think maybe it's because my wife keeps talking about she wants a new couch. And if I'm going to spend the money, it's got to go to a couch. Even though this is the money this is all my YouTube Switch money that goes to it goes into a savings account that I don't touch. I only used it twice. I've used it twice now. Once was to repair my roof, to replace my roof. And then the second time was to buy 3 times to buy this lens right here, this Lumix lens, which was like $1,600. And then when I bought my camera and my lens for my Sony. So I don't typically use that money unless I'm spending it on stuff for work, basically, And then again, having said this, has buying this lens made my life better? That's the question that I have. Buying the A7 IV, could I have done everything I wanted with the G9? And here's my answer to you. Yes and no. You see, my G9 was starting to get a little weird when it was being handled. I was getting restarts and freezes, and the lens mount was like, we can't read your lens and blah, blah, blah. Signs of wear and tear and age. So yes, I could have gotten another Micro Four Thirds, but at that point I'm going, well, I need something with better low light. So that's why I bought it, because I do video stuff, and I record my guys and all my crews for our demos and stuff like that. So yes, the low light comes in handy. the small form factor. So, yes, from a business perspective, it has saved me because I have more usable footage. I have more control over where I'm recording. So, yes, but not everything is like that. You know, if I buy a new lens, which will be good because it's a 16 to 35. So when I'm on a gimbal, I'm wide open. I get so much more. We're not yet. Not yet. Okay. Uh all right. I'm using a PV6 mixer. Oh, okay. A PA. Gotcha. I'm using a PV6 mixer for live streaming. The sound is okay, but I was thinking about using my Yamaha MG10X2. What do you think? I haven't used the PV mixer. I have used the MG10X2. I have one of those, and the MG is fine. Sounds good. Uh, I mean, I don't know if the MG is going to sound so much better than the PV, but all you can do is try. A lot of times I answer questions that you guys already have the answers to, but you just like me to say them, I guess, and that's fine. But I mean, in all honesty, you just have to just plug it in, try it, see how it sounds. It might be better. Maybe the EQ, maybe the pots are better. Maybe there's distortion in your line on the PV, and that's why it doesn't sound good. And maybe it's a little cleaner on the MG. There's so many different things. Okay. All right. Okay, let's hop around here. Okay, Mixmaster is on the stuff here. Red loves his Silverado. That's good to hear. All right, let's see if there's any questions for me. Tahoe. Tahoe's is a good thing. The problem with the Tahoes is a simple one. SUVs are in high demand right now, so every dealership is literally bumping up the purchase price by, I'm talking $10,000 to $15,000. Like, you'll walk up to the window and the sticker will say MSRP with all these add-ons and stuff. Say it's $60,000, right? And then there will be this one little side picture here, and this will say dealer adjusted price point or something like that, right? And then it'll just have an arbitrary number, literally an arbitrary number. And next thing you know, your car that was $60K is now $75K for no reason. So that's why I was thinking about getting like an Expedition, because that way I knew my wife, she likes to drive my truck and she goes on trips for the kids and their dance and stuff like that. So it would have been nice to have everything enclosed, but they want too much money. They want too much money for the SUVs right now. Randy G in the building. What's going on, fam? T Diesel in the building. Good to see you. What's a good set of bedroom speakers? How big do you want them? Because you can get yourself some, an Yamaha HD HD5s. It depends on how loud. Pioneer DJ makes a really good, smaller setup. You can get yourself a KRK. I mean, they're all about the same price point. I think buy-in is typically around like $200 for like usually like a 5-inch woofer, give or take, maybe 5, maybe 3-inch woofer. Okay, Chris in the mix. What's going on? All right. All right. What 6 to 10 channel DJ mixer do you recommend? I know the Mac and Yamaha are digital. Looking for analog to help avoid digital issues. What digital issues are you having that are getting in the way? But yeah, I've only used Yamaha, Mackie, Alesis. They're all solid. Yeah. I guess it just depends on what you're trying to do, because a lot of the things that make a mixer more expensive are the features. Can you do a bus down? Can you have a mix minus in the monitors? Like all of these little things are extra features that a lot of the lower end end ones don't do. But I haven't had a problem with digital versus analog on mixers. All right. Oh, the DriveRack PA2. Okay. So yeah, I actually had several DriveRacks. I don't use DriveRacks for my powered system. I don't have a need. Why do you ask? Do I not have a need? Because my speakers all have crossovers already built in. And the whole point of the DriveRack was to have a reliable crossover that is tuned to the system you use. So all of my passive systems all had DriveRacks in them, and they sounded amazing. I don't think you need a DriveRack if you have a high-end speaker. I really don't. But that's just an opinion. Just an opinion. Yeah. Okay. Have you had a chance to play with Touch Mix? No, I don't, because from what I hear, they're too hard to find. Okay. See, I got to get through the Mixmaster G comments and then the actual questions to me. Okay. DJ Metro. Facebook has been muting songs less and less. Here is my question. When you say muting songs, are you referring to real-time muting or after the fact playback muting? Because if we're talking about playback muting, I don't know, man. Let it go. I mean, honestly, let it go. If you're really trying to make a mixdown, I mean, there are things already designed for that. You can go to Mixcloud. You can throw your mix up on SoundCloud, but it's never going to be that situation where you're going to be able to use Twitch or use Facebook to archive your DJ sets. That's not going to happen. Again, if you are being muted a lot, I would say that it's probably the music you're playing, because there is a way to figure out what music is working, what music isn't working on YouTube. Because YouTube will tell you, this song is being muted, this song is being muted, this song is being muted, this song is not allowed anywhere in the world, so the whole stream is being muted. They'll tell you that. Look at those songs and go, okay, on my next mix, don't play these songs. And then go from there. All right, I mean, I got a Rev One for Christmas. Never used a controller before on turntables last 20 years. Sent it back to upgrade to the Rev 7. Well, obviously. Like the Rev 1 and the Rev 7 are nowhere near the same at all. So I'm glad that you got a Rev 7, especially coming from a turntable. It's going to be the best transition for you. So good for you. Okay. Dealer markup can be negotiated off. And I can repaint my house if I really wanted to. Just because it can be negotiated off doesn't mean they want to. If they know that there's 10 people looking at that car, they're not negotiating any mark off from you. It's not going to happen. They're going to say, why? Why would I sell it to you when I can make $12,000 from another person who doesn't care about the markup? You see, that's the situation we're in. Okay. I lease all my vehicles. Yeah, so do I. The dealer markups still apply to leased vehicles. And it's even worse because now your leased vehicle has a worse residual value if they tack on that residual, if they tack on that markup. Okay. I'm looking at Pablo. Sold my Cherokee. Been sharing the wife's car, riding my mountain bike. I'm a big fan of riding the mountain bike. My wife makes fun of me. I'm like, why? There's nothing wrong with riding a mountain bike. But for larger events, you rent a U-Haul, still cheaper than a monthly car payment. This is true, except for the fact that my car's a write-off. And so is your car, actually, because you use it for work. So it doesn't really affect me. Like, it's not coming out of my pocket. It's coming out of my business's pocket. I guess technically the same thing, but my business's account has nothing to do with my personal account. So it's okay. Cool Hand Lex, I've been wondering, what's your preferred setup to play shows with? I've seen your gig logs with the Rane One. Is that your favorite? I haven't done a gig log in a long time, first off. And if you've seen my videos, I had an issue with my rev that had to be tweaked because it's a long, deep story. Has nothing to do with the retail rev. Make a long story short, I use a Rev 7. If I'm taking my controller with me, I think there's something that's coming today that's going to make my Rev 7 even better. Well, it's going to make anybody that's using a bigger controller better. But if I'm taking my stuff with me, I'm taking my Rev 7. It's better for what I needed to do. The hardware effects are amazing. The pads up top for stem work is a godsend. It just works for me. It just works better. Rane One, very good controller, but I prefer the Rev 7. Now, I'm saying all this stuff, and who knows, when the Rane 4 finally comes out and they send me my damn model that I'm waiting on, that might all change. Who knows? But the point is, look, I'm in a different situation from most people because I do get products early, and sometimes if I negotiate it correctly, I can keep said product. So I had the luxury of being able to kind of pick and choose what I want to use. I know a lot of people don't have that luxury. They can just they're like, I need to know what's the best thing. Because I only have enough to buy for me the one time. So I get it. If I had to buy one time right now, today, not next month, not after NAMM, not after DJ Expo, but today, I'm picking a Rev 7 every day of the week. Every day of the week. Just for me. Works for me. Okay. Biggie Small says, Baseballs BB15 will give your SRX 918 a fair challenge with 24 when you're watching 30 pounds ladder. I know that BB15 is good. I have a hard time believing that it is better than the SRX 918. That SRX 918 has some of the most ridiculous overhead I've ever seen. And that's the thing. Most people don't actually turn up the volume on a 918 because its default volume is so damn loud that you don't need to. But the overhead on the 918, I was shocked at how loud that thing gets. I'm not saying that the Baseballs 15 isn't amazing. I think that's the whole point. I think you can get a 15 and it'll sound like an 18, which is what makes it great. I don't think it's going to sound like the SRX. But I think that if you're running Baseballs at normal audio levels, right? Like a normal party, I think you're fine. I think the same thing happened with the QSC. Because people were like, well, the SRX is louder. I'm like, yeah, it is louder. But for the most part, you're never running your system as loud as the SRX 918 will get. So you're paying for overhead that you're not actually using. It's like if you were paying for a car and you bought a Lamborghini because it goes 180 miles per hour, but you never actually drive 180 miles per hour. You're driving 60 to 80 miles per hour, which is the same thing a Toyota Corolla can do. Now, obviously there are differences in them. I understand, but it's good. DJ Don Rafa says, Cleveland, buy new or refurbished MacBook Ones. 100%. 100%. If they have your MacBook on the Apple Reverb site, you buy it without hesitation. Every computer I've purchased over the past 5 years, maybe even 8 years, has been from the Reverb site. Every computer. You're wasting your money if they have it on the Reverb side and you buy new. Honestly, you are wasting your money. Okay. All right. Okay, what do you think about the tractor? I don't have an opinion about tractor in general because I don't use tractor. I've touched tractor like one time. I do not have an opinion about tractor. Okay, Nathan Jones. And there's nothing wrong with tractor. You know, if you use tractor, I mean, I know my guy Carlo in Tanita, he uses tractor, and I ask him, why do you use tractor? And he says, simple. It has the best mapping out of every software out there. So for some people, that's a necessity. I get it. They don't have enough options for me with tractor. I've got a high schooler who wants to be my assistant. I had him at a gig and had to tell him a few times to get off his phone. What are some things I can ask him to do to keep him busy? I don't know. Give him a mop. Tell him to mop around your DJ set. Give him a duster. Say, dust my equipment. You know, make him do jumping jacks and say it's a new dance move. No, in all honesty, if you have an assistant and all they are doing is standing around, doing nothing, then they're not learning. So if you have an assistant, make that assistant work. You know, have him throughout the week. Have him prepare a set that he knows he can do. You know, have him wire up all of your stuff. Have him be the guy that if you need some equipment to go back to the studio or whatever, he can go do that. But if he's just there, you know, depending on what it is that you're doing, you know, because it could be anything. Let's say you're doing a wedding, you have an assistant, you know, he's the guy that takes the second microphone to the bride and groom or the best man for their speech. You know, maybe you're doing a bar mitzvah or a wedding and Jewish wedding. And he's the guy or girl that grabs a chair and brings it in the middle, grabs a chair, brings it back out. You know, if he's an assistant / apprentice, he should be on the tables at some point. I'm not saying the first week, but every week he should be on there. He should be able to get on for 15, 20, 30 minutes, or else he's not helping you and you're not helping him. In my opinion. Okay. Oh, Yatin. Some people are asking questions that legitimately I've already answered. So I don't want to keep answering the same questions. But we did talk about the RCF. The RCFs are good. They're good speakers. Plain and simple. They're good speakers. Leasing is an overpriced rental with mileage. Not if it's a business expense. If you're just leasing to lease, sure. But if it's a work related vehicle, then it's fine. Yeah. And 69 says, yeah, the BB15 is $2,500. That's really expensive. Really expensive. He's a good kid. Just when it's open dance time and I'm in the zone, he's over there texting. Let him get some mic work, you know, have him, you know, make announcements and stuff. My coffee's getting cold, which is weird because it's only been, hold on one second.
This is a journey into sound. This is a journey. This is a journey into sound. Sound.
Okay. Selecta Isaac says, "Is the Rane 57 SL still worth it in 2023?" Absolutely not. Is it still worth it as an analog? Is it an analog mixer? Sure. Is it worth it as a virtual DJ mixer? To a certain point. But it's kind of a useless device. I wouldn't personally buy one, you know. You can't sell them for crap. So you can get one for dirt cheap if you really need one. I kid you not, 4 Rane 57s that I have no use for. And anybody that uses a computer that is relatively modern won't be able to use it either. So I think it's a very limiting thing. All right. DJ Don Rafa, store music internally or externally? Ask Mixmaster G. He'll tell you. Because I don't use external. I'm an internal storer. I have a 2 terabyte hard drive for that reason. I don't like having to remember if I packed in my extra external. I don't like having to worry that for some reason something hits my cable or pulls it out and now I'm dead in the water. I just would rather not have that. Now, Mixmaster G will tell you all the reasons why external is the best possible situation. He will tell you these things. I won't. Okay. What would be some good things to look for if buying a low-end camera? Just make sure it's not beat to hell. You know, it's not scratched up. The lens is clear. I mean, the hardest part of buying any type of like camera with a attached lens is that you have to open it up. You got to look into it. You got to see if there's scratches on the lens, or you know, or even worse on the inside, if there's dust in the lens. Like there's all these little things that you have to look for. I'm assuming that if you're buying something that's a little older, you know, or used, you know, there's going to be some things, and most of the time, a scratch here and there doesn't affect the actual camera itself. So it's just buy the best one for you. You know, make sure like the flip out screen is not coming loose on the hinge and all the little things. All right, a couple more, and then I do have to go. Let me drop down. Does it matter to mix and match subs with different brands? And is the sound quality different to you if you've done so? No, it doesn't matter. You can buy, you don't have to buy the same pairs. Now, the difference with buying the same pair, like if you buy, you know, an SRX top and bottom or QSC top and bottom, is that they're tuned to work together. That's the key. But tuning is relative. If I bought a baseball sub, I would just have to EQ my highs or my bass boss so they match. Nothing wrong with that. I definitely don't have an issue with going with a different sub over a different high. I don't. You get what works for you. I mean, come on now. We were doing that for decades. Anybody that was DJing in the 90s was rocking Serwin Vega bottoms. You were rocking Earthquakes. Your tops probably weren't Serwin Vega. You're probably using a JBL or or just something else. So, you know, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Okay. I'm on a budget, and I'm a video DJ's MacBook Air M2 great with the new updates. I don't know, man. I don't have a MacBook M2. So you guys are asking me, sometimes when people ask me questions like on something that literally just came out, how do you, I have no idea. I know the M1 is good. So it stands to reason that the M2 is just as good and or better. And I'm putting my money on better. Video DJ, you need to be more concerned as a video DJ with the amount of RAM that you have, the amount of RAM that you have and the GPU that you have. The M1 can do the same thing, but you need a higher GPU because you're going to be offloading all of those video processes to your GPU, and you want to make sure you have enough RAM to cover the large data files that you're now loading up for video. So it doesn't matter if it's an M1 or an M2. You just have to make sure that you get one with enough GPU cores and enough RAM. Processor, all the processors are going to be good enough. Okay. See, DJ, EV. Nothing wrong with EV. There's nothing wrong with any of these speakers. You understand what I'm saying? I think a lot of people you get, when I say you, I'm talking about the world, okay? People get confirmation bias. If you don't know what that means that you have something and somebody gives an opinion that is positive for the product you have. So you use that as your argument. All right. But it's only because you own said product. I, being a guy that literally has access to pretty much all the DJ gear on the planet, don't have that, because I've seen it all. I know that there are a number of great products. And for anybody that says Pioneer DJ is the best, Rane is the best, Denon is the best, it's all BS. They're all good. Some just do things that maybe you're interested in better than another company. That's it. But they're all going to work. They're all going to make you DJ as well as you can, because no controller, no software is going to make you a better DJ. I mean, they're trying, but you still got to DJ. So any piece of hardware that I talk about or that I review is based upon what's in front of me, not compared to something else. The only thing that affects my reviews, the only thing, is when a company tells me how much something is, how much they're selling it for. And then the moment I see how much something is being sold for, it changes. It affects my review. Because if you tell me this Flex 4 right here, right? Hey, Pioneer DJ, we have a new controller. It's a Flex 4. It's right here. And I say, cool, how much is it? And you tell me this Flex 4 is $1,000. Well, my review is going to be completely different than the fact that it's only $200. So it just depends. The SC Live 4 was a perfect example. The price affected my ability to review it. People are like, well, just review it for what it is. I can't, because what it costs is a part of what it is. Same thing I'm talking about with like RCF and Bass Boss. Same concept. Price affects how things are reviewed. So anyway, that's the issue. Maybe it's the issue because I just forgot. Oh, so that's my issue with saying any one thing is better than any other thing. It's not. Nothing is better. It's just better for you. And better for you doesn't mean better for everyone. You get it? I know tons of people that absolutely love their Prime 4s. Love them. I know people who can't stand them. I know people who love the DJ 1000. I'm a big fan of the 1000. I have DJ friends that have touched the 1000 and are like, I don't like the way the jogs feel. Turntable DJs, when I'm like, this is the closest thing to a turntable you're going to get that's not a moving platter. They're like, I don't like the jog wheels. Okay, it's not for everybody. So you got to get what works for you. Okay. Majestic, I got the Hercules Impulse 500 just in and love it. Okay, my only issue is when I'm using the mic, I hear myself in my headphones, but not through the speakers. Well, you hear your mic through your headphones because your Q mix is probably right in the middle, and the Q mix picks up your headphones. Now, if you're not hearing your headphones out of the actual audio outputs, I don't think we're talking about streaming. Because if we're talking about streaming, there are just certain devices that don't allow for a mic or microphone output. But if you can't hear the microphone out of like your standard audio outputs, and I don't have the Hercules Impulse next to me, but see if there's a switch. Sometimes there's a switch. Sometimes there's a little gain or an attenuator. You know, all of these things. I'd have to see it, but chances are, is there an on and off switch that you're just not seeing? But it depends on if you're streaming or not. There's so many little things. Okay. See, this is a perfect example. DJ Theo says he has a 1000, just okay. He has an SX or SR2. He likes that setup better. I, for one, can't stand the SX. My first controller I ever bought was an SX2. It was a great controller for what it was. But for me, now I would never, ever, ever go back to an SX2, which is why the Mixon, the Reloop Mixon is going to be a little tough for me. Because I know it's a great controller, but I'm not really into capacitive jogs right now. Just not my thing. Okay, let's see a couple more, and then we got to get out of here. DJ Chef, you're going to be very happy when you get your Ref 7. Okay, Don says, if getting an M1, what would you recommend? Not the SSD size, but all the rest. Okay, I can only talk about what I have. And I think I have probably... I think it's better than what most DJs, if you're not doing video mixing, need. Okay, but this is mine. M1 Pro 10 core with the, I think it's 14 core GPU, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte S drive, SSD. That's my thing. And it hasn't failed me once. So I have a friend, my partner has the 16. He's got the 2 terabyte hard drive. He went with the Max, the M1 Max, which is for him completely overkill. But my partner, it's important that you understand who your friends are and why they buy certain things. Like my partner has the SRX 900 series, the subs and the highs. Problem is, every time he goes out to venues, a lot of times the subs they're just too loud for the rooms. So, but he won't go with like a smaller, like, oh, just get yourself a Bose or get yourself a column array when you're doing 100 people. He would rather just bring one sub and one high and call it a day, or just run the highs. Because in his mind, he just wants the system to be able to do everything. I'm compartmentalized. I want the right system for the right job. You get it? So he runs into situations sometimes where the room can't even run his power. It's just too much. So he's blowing circuits. It kind of reminds me of back in the old days when we used to run, passive speakers, and you'd have your amplifiers, and you'd have to run your amplifiers to one circuit and then your lights, because they weren't LED, to a completely different circuit, because you just, in case one blew out, you could take it to the other one. That's back when we used to have legitimately an extra extension cord just sitting there waiting in the event that you pop a circuit. So you could just run it somewhere else really, really fast. See, you guys don't know anything about what us DJs used to deal with. You guys got it easy now. LED, everything is LED based. Everything's powered, and they don't, the amplifiers are nowhere near the same size as like my RMX 4050 and 2450. You don't have to carry that big ass amp rack anywhere. Just a different world, man. Just a different world. You got sync. Now you got stems. You got streaming music. When I started doing actual private gigs, the company I worked for was on that stupid Denon CD players, the ones with the single big ass Q button and nothing else. That was it. You had one Q button. You guys got it made. Anybody that tells me they can't DJ in this climate needs to shut the hell up. That's all I'm saying. All right. Shadea, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm not even talking about crates. Elemental. Like, not even talking about that. I had that also. That was a nightmare too. Yeah. Yeah. What was the most record crates you owned? Oh, I don't know. I probably, if we're talking about like milk crates, I probably had 10 boxes. 10 boxes, somewhere around there. Yeah. I only had what I played. For everything else, I had tapes. I had cassette tapes and CDs. So yeah, never had to go more than that. Because for the most part, as a DJ, I mean, you're going through like 2 to 3 crates, usually maximum in general for like a normal set. So to each their own though. Okay. Yep. The good old burn scar lights. Those old par cans, man. Oh man, were they hot. How do we buy you a coffee? Nathan Jones. It's actually really, really simple. There are 2 different ways that you can support me in the channel. And I appreciate everybody that does. Ruben is one of my members. You can become a member. It's like $5 a month. I'm here every week. So that's a great way to support me, is become a member. It's right underneath somewhere. I think it's on like this side over here. Become a member. And or you can give super chats. Those little super chat thanks when you're in there. And that'll come to me too. And I appreciate everybody that contributes, because it is a lot of time out of my day. And when I say it's a lot of time out of my day, I really mean it, because my days are extremely packed. Like after this, I'm right on phone calls. I still have a video. I have another video I need to edit. If you haven't checked out DJ Red with the $4.99 super chat, thank you so much, fam. I appreciate you. I still have another video to shoot. I got to watch a documentary and do a review on that. It's a DJ documentary that I have to do one on. I have IG reels to make. It's a lot. It's a lot sometimes. Thank you again, DJ Reese. See, this is how you take care of somebody that's just blessing you with all this free knowledge. This is how you take care of people. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much, DJ Red, DJ Reese. You guys or girls, I don't know. You guys are killing it. So thank you. Willie Will in the building. Will you be doing the Mackie Thumb giveaway today? No, I'm not doing the Mackie Thumb giveaway today. The reason why is because I haven't priced them out yet. Just ran out of time. It's coming. They're already packed away, but I need to get the shipping costs. Just a general idea. So it will happen soon. It just won't happen today, because the raffle is all automatic. I think I'm gonna do one more video which just kind of breaks down if anybody wants to still do it. They need to just leave a comment. That way, I want it to be fair. Walter Vargas, another super chat. Thank you guys. This is great. This is I appreciate you. And again, I know it's like, oh, you're begging for money or whatever. It's like, no, it's just, there's a lot of time in this. And this way it kind of shows that it means something. I think that's the most important part, that it means something to people, or else I'm just talking to talk. I still have my 2450 RMX. It stays in my amp rack. Hasn't left the basement in years. Yeah. I literally, I couldn't sell them. I had to give away. I gave away all my passive systems. Nobody would buy them. at all. And I'm talking like dirt cheap. Like, come get yourself some highs, some subs, and the amp racks for nothing. For nothing. And then all of a sudden, people were like, I don't need that. Nathan Jones with the $5 super chat. Thank you guys so much. You guys are killing it. You guys are killing it. Honestly. Absolutely killing it. Let's see here. Let me see if I have any more questions. Before I do have to leave. By the way, just so you guys know, I go through all of it. My family makes fun of me because legitimately I go through and I replay the whole stream. So my family's like, what are you doing? Listen to yourself again. You like listening to yourself? You're so vain. I'm like, no, I'm listening to myself for a couple of reasons. One, to make sure that what I'm saying is accurate. Two, I do read all the comments because I know there's sometimes there are comments that I will miss going through all of this. So I like to try to, if I can, answer those somehow. And three, I like it for like Instagram Reels. If I say something that's good, I like to be able to cut it up and use it. But yes, my family makes fun of me. I'm the jokester. I got jokes. All right. Did I hit it all? Did you pitch bend on a cassette tape? How? No, never DJ with cassette tapes. I always had vinyl or CDs. That's about as far as I went. I miss tapes. That sounds old. That sounds old. But I do miss tapes. Don't get me wrong. I love having any song I ever wanted on my phone. That's what I'm saying. We got it easy. We got it easy. Okay. Let's see. Last question here. Whoa. Jerry Adams with the $10 super chat. You guys are killing it. You guys are killing it today. You know, I stopped, like, Twitch used to be the money, the money maker. Like, you get on there and people would just give you money. That's done. That's nowhere near the way it used to be. You know, I guess all that government money finally did run out. Now people got to use their actual money. But anyway, thank you. I see you on Twitch on Tuesdays. There's been, so the Tuesday Twitches is a question mark for me. Kylie Palm in the building. What's going on, girl? It is a question mark for me. I don't know what I want to do with Tuesday. I might go back to DJing and answer questions, you know, as I DJ. I don't know. I'm still on the fence on Tuesdays. I don't know why Tuesdays are so mentally hard for me. They just are. They really are mentally hard. So we'll see. I don't have off 2.0. I don't have any videos about organizing my library. And the reason why I don't have any videos is because everybody organizes their library differently. I think differently than my partner thinks. You know, like, I'm the guy that will have a playlist called, you know, K Tronada, and I know all the songs that are in there are not K Tronada. They just sound like K Tronada. My normal adult list is just my adult list, and I throw everything in there. I can't DJ along with my son Chalice because, well, he's always busy. He's a dancer. So, I mean, keep in mind, back when we were in the pandemic, he didn't have dance, but he dances like 5 days a week. He's pretty much a professional tap dancer. He is a professional. He's been paid for it. So he is a professional tap dancer. So he typically doesn't have time. And it's a lot of work setting up that secondary system, that extra cameras, all those things. It is a lot of work. A lot of work. We'll see. Do you use Apple Music to organize your music? No, I do not. and neither should you. Okay, hold on. Let's back up. When we talk about organizing music, you're talking about making playlists like in Apple using it. And when I say Apple Music, we're not talking about streaming. We're talking about the actual local app on your computer. I don't do any playlist, which I could, but I don't. I don't do any playlist in Apple Music. Now, personally, I should because I go through so many pieces of software out there. Like I use DJ and I use virtual DJ and everything. And although the good news is both DJ and virtual DJ allow you to read your Serato crates. So it makes it a lot easier from a computer's perspective. So I haven't had to do anything like that, but I don't use crates in Apple. My Apple Music is just a trash can where I hold all my music. That's it. Trash can, I hold all my music. I do all my crates in Serato. I no longer, which was the biggest thing that I did the entire time. I no longer allow Apple to put my music where it thinks it should go. I have a bin. I'll show you exactly what it looks like. Hold on. This is the TG Pro. We don't need that. Okay. All right. So the way mine work is simple. Over here, I have, all the things that I hit a lot of: Dropbox, AirDrop, so on and so forth. This DJ music playlist right here, this is basically all of my music, all of it. All my music is in this one folder called DJ music. I don't have any other folders in here. It's all in one. So when I download music, I have Serato. I'm sorry, not Serato. I have the browser ask me every time I download, and this is key for me. This works for me. I have Serato download. When I keep saying Serato, the browser, when I click on download on any of my record pools, it pops up, and then I just literally go right over here and just click on DJ music, hit download, it saves it to it. And then what it does is it automatically opens up in iTunes. That way it registers the music that file is where it should be. And then I just drag and drop from Apple, from iTunes /music. That's all I do. So in my crates, which I am in the process of cleaning up, in my crates, I have this is my check 1 2 folder. This is where I stay. Okay, this is my work crate, this check 1 2. And in here, I have a breakdown for event music, like dance request, any special events, if there's like a ceremony, whether it be bar mitzvah or wedding. And this dinner one is usually relegated to weddings, because a lot of times they will have dinner music that they want played. Because I have multiple crews, I have MCs that like to have different songs for their hand clappers and introductions. So I got that in here. I have an opening crate folder that is just music that works in the beginning, easy stuff. And then I have split the crowd. These are all like just instrumentals that people can talk over. Then the hora, honor dance will be here. And then regular background music that I like to play, for dinner, in between, whatever. Then I have my adult crate. And my adult crate is legitimately anything and everything that adults will listen to, with the caveat of it bleeding into what the kids are listening to also. But, all that stuff, California Love, No Scrubs, Next Episode, some Lauryn Hill, some Flow Rider, some Beyonce, some Pitbull, all that stuff. ABBA. I don't parse out I don't parse it out like, oh, this is disco. I have a disco folder. Okay. So as I drop down to here, I have a disco folder, and this is all disco, all of it. And then I have a funk folder and an 80s mix folder and a 90s, which I'm still working on, as you can see there, and 90s hip hop, because I have it broken down by boom bap. I have a whole new folder called boom bap. Rock, 2000 to 2010. So I have certain things that are set up. Dropping down into the kids section, I have one for TikTok. I have one for those kids that are stupid ratchet. And then I have something called hype shit. And this is kind of a mixture of all the songs that are just popular and that the kids like, as you can see from here, where I stay. So, and there's a whole bunch, and it just depends on the group. Okay. All right. Randy G, I use Apple Music to rename, relabel music and video files, but yeah, I do the same thing. Randy, same thing. Yeah, I always change the name in there. You can't let Apple put it where it wants. Yeah, always turn off copy tracks. Yes, that's what I do too. Are you bringing any new guests for interviews on? I am. It's just a matter of time. It's all time. This is all we're talking about right now. It's all time. Everything that I'm talking about has to do with time. And if I have an interview on, I have to research those people. Randy, first off, it's a huge TikTok track and it's a clean version. So why not? Yeah. And again, these adults aren't listening to what we're doing. I don't play. I think the issue is that, and again, look, I'm not playing this at a elementary school function for a bunch of 10-year-olds. These are 13, 14, 15-year-olds, way different crowd. The way I play music is simple. Anything elementary and below, there's a certain type of music that I play. This is a bar mitzvah. This is not a kids event. When I get to middle school, that opens up more what I can play. And then when I get to high school, all bets are off. Still clean, but all bets are off, on what I play. But yeah, there are levels to what you play. Yeah. I literally have a folder in here, called Super Clean. And the Super Clean stuff is for all those elementary kids, all that stuff that I know I'm not going to get any principal mad at me because I played something that was questionable. There's a, there is a method to my madness. I'm excited about the demo coming soon. So am I. I wish I could. I think it's A20, A203. Maybe that's like 1203. That's like a certain thing. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you, guys. This has actually been, one of the best ones. So thank you. All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Those elementary school dances you can't play around with. You cannot play around with. Yeah. Honestly. And it's not even, you might play a song that you think is super clean and one little thing will pop up and some parent will be like, oh my God, I can't believe you played that. And just like, yeah, I played a super clean edit of FNF and the students will still, of course, the ELO show. This is the issue. This is why you don't play it. You have to choose what makes the most sense, because we used to get burned by certain schools. And I'm talking like, I'm playing for like high schools. These kids are in 11th and 12th grade and I'm playing the clean version. They're singing the dirty version. And the principal's like, why are you playing this dirty music? You blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not. And then one client in particular told us, said, well, you are promoting them to say bad words. So that's cool. We're like, fine, whatever. For the most part, I tell every client, I tell everybody, look, I play clean versions only. They listen to dirty versions. So there's a potential that they're going to say the bad words. I can't control that. Can't control that. It is what it is. So the only thing I don't do now, if I know it's a legitimate song that they're going to scream out like Mo Bamba, they're going to scream out that F shit, part. You don't bring that music down and let them say it. You don't have a sing-along part for bad words, because then it looks like you really are promoting it. So that's it. Okay. What DJ convention are you going to? That every DJ should go to? I think the DJ Expo is a very good one for DJs. I think NAMM is very good. NAMM will screw you though. Like, don't go to NAMM first. go to the expo. Go to Entertainment Expo. Go to things like that where it's smaller. Because if you go to NAMM first and then you go to like the expo or something like that, you walk in like, oh, this is it? This is all you got? Because NAMM is so big. The performance level so high. It's just a different world. So but yeah, I love NAMM, and I'm in California, so that makes it easier. I also I was very impressed by the DJ Expo. I had talked myself out of it for the longest time, and then finally I went. I was very, very impressed. They do a really good job at the expo. Mobile entertainment. I believe last year was their first year that they brought DJs into it, because before it was really just like a photo booth convention. I think they asked a whole bunch of people, like including myself, like, what could we do better? And I'm like, you gotta put more emphasis on the DJs. Like, if you walked into the mobile entertainment, like you walk in and like the the DJ area is like maybe 1/4 of how big the photo booth area is at mobile entertainment. It's ridiculous. So they need to find a way to make that kind of half and half, and then everything will be good. Because if you're not going for like last year, if you weren't going for a photo booth, I truly believe it was kind of worthless. There was nothing there for DJs. I mean, there were some things, but nothing really. I'm in Ventura County. I live in Simi Valley. NAMM is expensive. You're right, DJ Mac Attack. There are tons of ways to get stuff. I find that if you just throw it out there, like throw it out on your Instagram or your Facebook, there's usually somebody. Like before I was anybody, I just threw it out. I'm like, I want to go to NAMM. Anybody got any NAMM things? The random person that I've been friends with for years was like, oh yeah, I own a record store. I have NAMM tickets. Like, oh really? I didn't even think about that. So just, you'd be surprised, DJ Chef, thank you so much, fam. Appreciate you. But again, I always ask, because there's always people that want to give me NAMM passes, but look, obviously there's a reason why they want me to wear their NAMM pass, because hey, Cleveland Terry, and it's whatever they represent, So I don't want to say I'm choosy, but there's certain things, and it's kind of cool to walk around with a NAMM badge and it says Serato on there like that. That's kind of cool, or it says Pioneer DJ. That's kind of cool. But it's all over. DJ Chef, thank you for the super chat. Yes, I did say that extra minutes. Hold on 1 second, because people like to open my door. All right. Hold on 1 second here. So I knew there wasn't anything wrong with the S9 per se. So I guess I didn't think about it. I don't know. Maybe it was just me thinking about the set, or me consuming all those shots. Or me consuming all those shots. Hold on 1 moment. Hey, future me, what are you doing? I'm editing your videos. What else would I be doing? No. I get that. Why are you using virtual DJ samples? Well, you said that you would never use the virtual DJ samples, so I put them in to show VDJ users that we care. See? I'm helping you out. You know you're probably going to piss them off again. No, we're cool. I'm on the forums. I got a username, I got a password and everything. I'm a part of the community. And when you're a part of the community, you can make jokes, you know, because we're all just having fun. That's what we do. That's what we do. And it's kind of like being black. Because you know when you're black, you can say, hey, come on, man. Trying to get me demonetized? Why are you being so stupid? Well, considering you from the past, if I'm stupid, I got it from you. Whatever. Yeah, whatever, back at you. Why don't you go say something smart on the camera, smart brother? Sorry about that. Let's get back to it. Okay. Let's see here. Mobile entertainment. No, that's the one that's in Vegas. It's in Vegas in February. There is a Midwest one too. I don't know when that is. I have not been to the Midwest one. John Smith, Beyond the Music, I don't think is happening this year. I don't think they wanted to make it a yearly thing. I think they wanted to make it like a special thing. So I think it happens. NAMM is in April. Like the first week of April. Maybe that's why somebody was asking me to do something to DJ somewhere. And NAMM is like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th or something like that. Something like that. And yeah, Red, you can use your DJ business to get a badge. The only problem is the price did go up. I think it's like $179 if you don't have any real connections. It's around there. So it's more expensive than it usually is. I think last year, even if I didn't use somebody else, like if I was going in as an influencer, I think it was like, I think they only wanted to charge me like $79, something like that, or $100. This year, the same thing, and they want like $179. So far more expensive. Yeah, I do like that NAMM is, I think it's it's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday this year. And then after this year, it goes back to January. This is the last year, and then it's January. Okay. Yeah, $380 for NAMM. That's if you have like nothing and you just try to go in there. But if you got to go through the thing and you have to tell them what you do. So a lot of times if you tell them, oh no, I'm a business and I'm the buyer of my business and blah, 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 then you'll get that reduced rate. Yeah. So, I refuse to not play anything that's not off the radio when doing kids events. Oh yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if radio's relative, you know, but like if it's a kids event, if it's elementary and below, it's all radio stuff. And it might even be older stuff, you know, just because I want it to be as clean as possible. So, you know, but then you're also playing a lot more Taylor Swift's and, you know, things like that. But everybody's different. And depending on where you are, yeah, like I'm not necessarily playing, you know, an hour's worth of Taylor Swift if I'm playing in the hood, you know, but I will play things like, you know, Beyonce's and, you know, the Flow Riders and stuff like that. But I'm not going to go truly ratchet, you know, some Ushers and all of those things. Even in the hood, you know, but it just depends on where you are in the hood, you know? Okay. All right. I think I'm good because I do have to go and, eat some food before my 1:15. Sorry, I'm reading through my Ford guy. Dude, stop driving me nuts. This is the problem. I don't have enough me time lately. And it's driving me nuts. The do not disturb is real for me. Like I go on a hike with my dogs now. That's been my big workout thing. We'll go hike like 4 miles or whatever. And when I tell you I can't stand when some text message comes into my phone. It drives me nuts, but you need your phone. You're on a hike, who knows what could happen. So, so I do not disturb it, because I need it for an hour. I just got to get away from people, get away from things. You need your time. You need your time. Did you reach out to JBL for the PRX 900s? In Jersey, they want gunshot samples. You must not be talking about me. We have 900s, and they're good. They're good. They're good. Really loud, really heavy, which is why I don't want them. I could get the 900s. I don't like the weight on them. They're too heavy. I don't want to deal with it. Maybe if I had a roadie every weekend and, they could do everything and I just get up there and do the party, not a big deal. But I'm the one loading my truck. So no, thank you. Those QSCs fit real nicely in the truck. So I'm going to stick with QSC, just size-wise. Anyway. Okay. That's it. Because I gotta go. It's Thursday. You may see me on Twitch somewhere. It might even be tonight. I have a house show on Sunday that I'm DJing at Mama Shelter in Hollywood at this club called Utopia. The PRX 900s. Not SRX, PRX, they're plastic. Yes, the PRX 900s. Gotcha. So you might see me on just working through some sets. That's it. See, I need a day where I need a day where I'm just not talking to people. I need that day. Like all of a sudden there's like 15 messages that just came through. Not to mention all the emails. Size-wise, QSC or Bose, they're not the same. Mac Attack, they are not the same. I mean, size-wise, Bose is still smaller because of the fact that the column arrays get broken down into a small bag. So it's still better if you're dealing with the space issue and you're doing parties of 100 to 130. QSC is better across the board, especially if you're doing larger parties and you need that big low end. So everybody's different. Okay. All right, guys. Is my stuff working? Like I said, might be on Twitch sometime today. Because I know my wife is doing fun time with the daughter. Again, they had a date night yesterday. They're gonna go on a date night tonight. They're partying. They don't need me anymore. So, having said that, make sure everything's good. We're gonna head off and put your phone in. My phones are always in focus mode, but I got to be able to answer my phone. Because it's not just the text messages; it's the work text messages. It's all these things. It's all a part of it. And so my phone is my lifeline. Emails from people, and sometimes you can't let potential customers wait too long, or they will go with somewhere else. So you gotta. It's a part of life. So we'll find a happy medium soon. Once I get through all these reviews, I think life will change a little bit. Right now, I have so much stuff that it's clogging my brain. I did not do the giveaway yet. I will let you guys all know when that actual giveaway happens. Because I still gotta get costs for what the shipping cost is. I don't want somebody to win and then they're like, okay, cool, how much it costs? And I go and get it. It's like $500. Because then maybe it needs to be modified. Maybe it's a local thing. Maybe I go, because I'll be in Vegas next month. Maybe if it's something like that where I take it to a person, who knows? Anyway, Ruben, I don't even know what your earlier question was. I don't. Sorry, man. There's been a lot happening today. So if there is a question, let's see if I can find you real easy here. I don't see a question for Ruben. So if it was early on, I know I answered that question. Oh, wait, there's Ruben. So ask it again real quick. Still going. I'm actually leaving now. I'm just waiting for Ruben to repost his text, his question. Pick a day. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. So this is while I'm waiting for this. I have my family who always want something from me, which is a good thing. I have work where I have scheduled appointments Tuesday through Thursday from 1 o'clock to say around 6 o'clock. Also Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have these shows. Not to mention the countless meetings with like my partner and whatever meetings that I set up with the client. And then, obviously friends want to talk to you. And then all of my YouTube stuff is nonstop. I have emails left and right. I have, products that need to be reviewed. I don't have a lot of free time. And I have to work out. So there you go. It's a lot. It's a lot. I just don't have a lot of free time. And to be fair, I'm a little bit of a workaholic. So there's that. If I'm not working, I'm usually not in a good place. So everybody's different. Everybody's different. All right. I'm not getting that question from Ruben. So I guess that means I will have to answer it at a different time. I want to thank everybody for hanging out today. You guys are amazing as always. Everybody, thank you for all the actually, you're a member. So can I sort by member? No. There's got to be a way to sort by member. That'd be dope. Participants. Let's see. Hold on. No. Nope. Okay. So I will answer it next time, Ruben. Sorry about that. Must have missed it. Okay. Anyway. Thanks guys for hanging out today. Make sure you check out my initial review of the new updated Pioneer DJ XP line. They have 10s, 12s, 15s, and 18-inch subs. Pretty good sounding speaker so far, but go ahead and watch that video and we'll have another update on that one. And I have this Flex 4 video coming out today. I need to get this off my plate. I have a documentary review that's going to come out probably next Monday. I have a Prime 4 versus the RX3 video that's already done. I just have to cut it up. And what else do I need to review? A couple of streaming devices. I think that's it. Those are the big ones. And I know there's a couple other products that haven't been announced yet that are going to show up at my door anytime now. So that'll be also. Besides that, I got plenty of time. And I got a DJ. I work over the weekends. I'm doing a lot more like night gigs and nightclub gigs and things like that. So it's a lot. But I don't know how to do it any other way. All right, y'all. You enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have great parties. And don't get too burnt out. Yeah, that's not even a thing. Have great parties. And we'll talk about them all next week. Unless you see me, make sure you follow me on IG. Get on your IG and my IG. And because I have stuff that goes on there that has nothing to do with any of these things. All right, y'all. Talk to you guys soon. Enjoy your day. Peace out.